temple prostitutes.
They were temple prostitutes. Okay. So he's talking to men and women who are coming from this thinking, this kind of religion, and he's addressing how they need to look, as well as, I believe he's addressing a spiritual covering. Okay. Who's the head of woman?
Man.
Who's the head of man?
God.
Sure.
Thank you. Who's the head of Yeshua?
Yahweh.
Okay. In Torah, is there anybody that is commanded to wear a head covering?
The priests.
Thank you. Yes.
Especially the high priest. Which is weird, because it seems to contradict what we're told about men.
Not
It
kind
seems, because they're not to wear a covering on their head.
Okay. Now, covering is not, I don't believe that he was telling the women that they had to have something on their head other than hair. Okay? But he was speaking to women who were coming out of these kinds of things, who had not grown up in Torah. And so they're trying to contribute or participate in things happening in the synagogues with no understanding.
Right.
Okay? So these women are looking foolish. They're speaking foolishness. And since the beginning of mankind, it has always been easy for people to take advantage or exploit women. So you have women who come into the congregations with no understanding of Torah, and they're trying to participate in the study, but they don't know what they're talking about. Why? Because they didn't have a covering. They didn't have a father or a husband at home teaching them Torah.
And generally, the women had not been very well educated.
Very true. Women, Jewish women were much more educated than Gentile women.
Yeah.
Okay? Most Jewish women grew up in a home where the Torah was read regularly, they memorized the Torah, they knew the Torah. Their covering made sure that they understood Torah and could walk it out, and that they could contribute something to study without being foolish. Jason?
I have a question. Since the man is called to be the priest of the home, does that mean that we would have to wear a covering?
When it commands the priests, it commands specifically the priests who are serving in the temple.
Okay.
Okay? So I would not carry it beyond that, Jason.
Well, except for the sense that, yes, they are to still have a covering as a priest,
Yeshua.
but as Yeshua. So yes, they must have a covering.
Okay?
Helmet of physical
But not
salvation.
Okay. So we have a chain here of authority. Now, this does not make women inferior. Please understand that.
They're not on the bottom chain.
Everything God does is for love and protection. Women in Torah, the Hebrew women, were so much more protected, well-educated, and taken care of than women in any other culture. God respected women. They're His creation. This does not make you inferior. This protects you. Because who's going to be judged? The man. Okay?
And it keeps
Whether
working
he
up,
likes it or not.
and it keeps working up. It works both ways. I mean, because yes, woman will be covered by man, but man will be covered by Yeshua, and Yeshua was covered by the fact that he only did what his father told him to do.
Exactly, Jim. Thank you very much. Okay, so if a woman does not have a man walking and teaching Torah,
Cut off.
Chain.
there's a break in chain. She's not protected. Now, in these cultures, it would be easy for a man to go up and spiritually abuse a woman. You're a fool, you don't know what you're talking about, and maybe even lead her astray. God did not want women there. He wanted, if a woman was not doing what was right or said something that wasn't right, the men of the congregation were to go to the man, who was then to address it at home in love and privacy. Does that make sense?
Yes. But you were saying that the woman didn't have a man.
But this is the way God intended it, and the way Paul was talking.
She put the man back in there.
Yeah, I put the man back in here.
That's a different one.
But he's not.
But he's either a husband or a father. Someone who's walking and teaching Torah.
She's not talking about the way it was that he was addressing. She's talking about the way it was designed to be.
Yes, okay, I got you.
Okay, this is the way it was supposed to be, yes. Okay, so, plus the fact if a woman was teaching, walking, or doing something wrong, whose problem was it?
Man.
It was the man's. He needed to be corrected, not the woman. Okay?
That's why it's so backwards when I said that woman you gave me.
That's right.
Yeah, I was just thinking.
Yeah.
Are you
Silly.
talking about that? Are you talking about that coward?
Well,
And the woman is seeking more for Torah. So, what then?
Okay, what comes out of this is if she does not have a man walking and teaching Torah, if she doesn't have a covering, his instruction is that she's not to prophesy or pray in public. Now, does this address her need for Torah?
No.
There need to be people in the congregation who realize that a woman does not have that covering, who needs teaching, and they need to take it upon themselves to do that in love. It's part of taking care of widows and orphans.
and so in a sense, she's spiritually widowed.
Yes. If a woman does not have a man walking and teaching in Torah, she's spiritually widowed. She can have a husband, but if he's not here, she's spiritually widowed.
Oh, okay.
Does that make sense?
So I'm a widow.
Yes.
Now, would it be safe to assume that before you're married, it would be your father
Yes.
who, okay, so what if, I think that's what you're talking about, if, like, a woman's out of their house but they never got married, is that the same thing that you were talking about right there?
Mm-hmm. Someone needs to take responsibility for being her covering. Now, our leaders have publicly proclaimed that they will be Jamie's covering. That if she needs something, if there's something that she teaching, physically needs, whatever, they will be her covering. So Jamie is covered. Does
What
that make
if,
sense?
yeah, what if, like, say your father doesn't, really follow the Torah and it's more of your own growth, and that what would you still say is a community?
It's still a community issue. You would be an orphan.
Okay, even if you're still irresponsible.
If he's not walking and teaching Torah, you'd be an orphan. Make sense? Okay.
What is
So
true
that's
religion?
That's right. True religion is taking care of
Here and on the top.
widows and orphans, right? So
But
there needs to be someone
issue
standing
here.
in the gap for women. But women who do not have a covering are not supposed to prophesy or pray in public. I believe it also goes, Paul didn't say it, but they shouldn't be making vows. Because over here in Torah, it says any vow they make as a widow or divorced woman, they have to keep.
So,
Shirley.
what if he don't remember when he made a vow?
Well, I personally would ask the Father to reveal to me if I have.
No, well.
And they
I
have
know
many, many, many
He
vows
did
in there.
explain to me about mother, so I went and talked to her. But I don't think she understands really what I was trying to say. But I'll talk about that.
Okay.
But are you telling me that, like Jamie, me and Tracy and others of us that are, well, she never was married, Jamie wasn't.
Right.
but we're divorced.
Right.
So are our men here, they are covered?
If they proclaim that they are your covering, yes. You can ask them to be your covering.
I see.
But are they your spiritual covering?
That's what, yes.
Yes. That's weird.
But they have to proclaim that. I will be your
Right,
covering.
right.
Danica?
Do you think if, like, if, well, even in my situation, like, if my dad wasn't there, what about my brother? Because he's an elder. Would you think that would be,
If you are under your brother's supervision, if you're in his home, then, and he's older and he's walking and teaching Torah, then yes, he could be your covering. That's shown here in Torah. You know, if a woman loses her husband, his brother must take care of her. Or if a woman is under her father's house and he dies, the brother must step in. And Yeshua shows that with, instead of taking his own blood brothers when he was on the cross, he assigned the authority to John for his mother. So it's someone who's walking and teaching Torah. If you don't have a man to cover you, you can ask for one, but be wise in that.
yeah.
Well, is that a necessity? I mean, do we have to have somebody specific?
You don't have to, but
If you
then
wanna
you're
be covered.
still here. You're uncovered.
Right.
But how about
So
if the
you're not
man's
protected.
married? Can he still?
Yeah, he can be your spiritual covering. Sure.
I think it's very important for us to understand that this covering represents, it represents authority, but
Yes.
it also represents protection.
Yes.
Right.
Protection is a huge part of it, supply, you know, just like we look to that God has promised us, because He's our covering, He will supply all of our needs according to His riches and glory. And that's what we can rest in. And so a person who has a need to be protected, or to have someone, whether it be something physical need or a spiritual need, those are all under that umbrella.
Exactly.
Just like mail breaking down on the road.
Right.
Doesn't Paul